Today for writing, we are learning to sequence a plot by identifying each part of a plot. So before we talk about the different parts of a plot, I want you to know that this is going to be a graphic organizer that we're going to use and that you can write right into. I'm going to show you how I would use it using the text My Secret Hero, that first text that I shared at the beginning. If you would like, you can go back and re-watch the video or reread it on your own. This way it's fresh in your head. You also have access to a graphic organizer, just like you would in school. This graphic organizer has all of the same points as what is on this anchor chart has all the same points that are on our graphic organizer. You'll be able to look at this whenever you want. So to know the parts of a plot, before we can do that, we have to know what is a plot. A plot is the sequence of events in a story. So it's something that happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end. But our 4th and 5th grade terms for plot are a little bit more advanced than beginning, middle, and end. We start with a rising action. So these are the parts of the story where the problems start. We have a climax, which is a turning point, which is like the biggest part of the problem where it reaches the peak where it can't go anymore. And then we would have a falling action, which are the events that happen that lead to the resolution, and the resolution is the end of the story, the conclusion. You might have noticed that we also have this exposition. This is just some background knowledge so we can know about the characters, know about the setting. Since you've already had a chance to kind of develop some of your characters and think about your setting, this part should be very easy. So if I'm thinking about My Secret Hero, the characters are Kara, who is a unicorn, and there's the narrator, who I named Cleo, but she doesn't have a name in the story. The setting is in a normal town. Oops. It's probably morning because she's waiting for the bus. Cleo is waiting for the bus for school. And it doesn't really say what time of year, but I'm going to say it's, when I was thinking about it, it was probably around springtime because I pictured it as Cleo just wearing a light jacket. So this is just some background information that's going to help me understand the story. The setting, the characters, things like that. And even something specific about the character, like Kara being a unicorn. The rising action is the part of the story where the conflict or the problem starts to happen. So we think about the narrator, I'm just going to write N, meets Kara. That's part of our rising action. What else is part of it? The narrator shares that she wants fame. She wants to be famous. Kara shares she needs help to find someone who's hurt. And let's think of some other things that happen during the rising action. The narrator agrees to help, and they begin looking for the hurt person. And also, Kara tells the narrator about the problems between unicorns and people. She shares that people have tried to take away their powers, tried to take their horn for their healing power and things like that. So those are all the rising actions. The climax of the story, that turning point where it is the most suspenseful, would be when Kara hears and then finds the little boy they, because the narrator's on her back, run or gallop to the boy. They help the boy. These are the most suspenseful, the biggest part of the story, where everything kind of turns. The falling action happens after the climax, and it leads to our conclusion. So these two things might seem similar, but they're actually a little bit different. So the falling action would be something as simple as Kara brings the little boy and the narrator to the land, and she asks them not to tell anyone about unicorns. Not as many things as the rising action or even our climax. Our resolution. At the end of the story, the narrator changes her mind about telling everyone about Kara being a unicorn, and she decides to keep it a secret. This is the overall plot for My Secret Hero. At the bottom of your page, or maybe on the next page, you'll also see that there's a part for a central message. Right now, what I want you to do is focus on the plot of the story and finding the different plots, different parts of the plot. Remember, the definitions are right here, so if you get confused on what rising action would mean, you can look here. You can also look on this anchor chart. The anchor chart shows the same words, the same sequence of events. The exposition, the beginning, the introduction, rising action are all of those events. The climax is the turning point. Falling action are the events that lead to the resolution. Okay? Your job is going to be to fill the same kind of thing out for different stories before you get practice, so that you can get practice for writing your own plot or story map for your story.